Good afternoon. It's lunchtime, and I am delighted to be here with Mr. Gavin Duffy. Hello, Gavin. Great to have
Hello,
you.
Samantha. How are you?
For anyone who doesn't know, I'm good, thanks. For anyone who doesn't know Gavin, he's the longest serving investor on RTE Dragon's Den, and having been in every series for its decade long run, it's no surprise that my guest, Gavin, is still busily working away with startups. And also during lockdown, he has been busy mentoring CEOs and founders of businesses all over the country. How has that worked, Gavin?
It's worked very, very well, Sam, and a very good afternoon to you. I thought you were going to say that we go back forever, but we will talk about that, no doubt, as we open up the discussion. But no, the mentoring has been wonderful. A lot of people talked about pivoting their business. Well, in my own case, I just said to people, look, if anybody's looking for a mentor, I'd be happy to come on. First of all, it was helping 12 months ago. People just cope with COVID and get through it. These were, I was surprised, because startups, and you know me, I love gadgets and I love people coming to the market with a new product and things like that. These were very established companies employing anything from 20 to 200 people, where the founder, the chief executive, was under big pressure to keep the company going. And in some cases, some of them were very busy because COVID created work for them, and other ones were struggling and just deciding what parts of the business they'd mothball and all of that. I found it fascinating. And so I've spent my days, like literally, from 8 o'clock in the morning. I talk to people about once a fortnight. We spend an hour. We go through all the issues. There's not too much of a schedule, Sam, because I think you get more out of a mentor relationship if you're batting the breeze sometimes. It's not when there's a specific issue. It is, so how are you feeling about that and how can I steer you? But you've heard me talk many times about the loneliness of being an entrepreneur. And that's why I think Your Women Inspire is inspiring, because it's just lovely to reach out to colleagues and friends. Are you finding that as well? You don't feel the loneliness, because as entrepreneurs or people running businesses, even if it's a solo business, it's not that solo. You're dealing with people and they're asking you questions every day. You're giving blood every day. But who do you ask or who do you discuss something with if you have a little issue or something that's just niggling at you? And that's the role I do. So I'm not so much a mentor. I'm a type of confessor. I'm, counselor, but I love it. I absolutely love it.
I know you do, and you've been so helpful to many people, and including myself. And even on Twitter, I want to highlight, because obviously I love Twitter, but you're very good on Twitter, and I love how you engage and help others with retweets. And I don't know how many times I say that to businesses, that we need to be retweeting other people who will possibly tell others about your product. And it's just such a simple thing and a simple way to make someone's day.
Sam, I can never understand that, because if I retweet somebody's business, right, it costs me absolutely nothing, and I think I'm providing a service to my own followers, etc. And I see somebody there starting out and they've got 600-700 followers, which those first few hundred are hard to get. Like, if I can put them onto my 40,000, whatever the number is, followers, it's like, why not? Like, it's only touched the retweet, but I don't know why people don't do it. Now, you and I have a long history as regards Twitter and so on. And will I remind you, sort of, because it used to be a Dragon's Den thing. Sam and I go back to Dragon's Den. That the poor person I've invested in is brought to Gavin's. You came to the house, did you? Were you put in the big room?
Yeah, I was put in the big room. That sounds a bit dodgy, Gavin. Be careful.
Yeah. But you explained the unusual direction I suggested to you at the time. You had a wonderful product, and yet I'd say, timing-wise, which none of us knew until we went to the market, we didn't realize, actually the timing isn't right. It probably could be now, but it wasn't then. But then, anyway, you take up the story, if you don't mind.
Well, yeah, you said to me, how many followers have you got on Twitter now? And I was like, I think about 6,000. And you said, you're very good at that, I think you should focus on that, you said to me.
Yeah, and just to share with people, from the very outset, if you don't mind me saying, and this isn't flattery, I'm just stating a fact.
Flatter away.
No, but Samantha Kelly had an authenticity, and this is something Americans talk about, and it always sounds, sort of a bit strange when you hear it from them. But there was a true voice there, and I just knew you were going to do something big on social media. And let's be honest, both of us didn't even understand social media. You more so than me, perhaps a bit, but you were just how somebody who didn't have a profile had that many followers. And it was the way you were just reaching out to people and the things you'd say that, and it was, now, if you don't mind me saying, Samantha, it was difficult enough to convince you at first, even though you were having that success, because you were so set on your baby, your product, right? Funky goddess.
I was like, don't be silly.
Yeah. And I'm saying, no. And I said, I remember saying to you, I bet you out of the blue and you got a client from the UK. You remember your first client, and then you were managing social media and we didn't even know what that meant.
Yeah.
And then you won the Bank of Ireland award for being a major influencer on Twitter. And typical of Gavin, I'm claiming the entire credit for this now. No, sorry, but and that's what I feel I bring in the mentoring. I don't know, because I listen to people and I really do get to know them. I can spot their true potential, and often we're so busy working on so many fronts, trying to earn the crust, Samantha. We don't concentrate where the gold is. And like when I look at Women Inspire, I shouldn't be asking, how many have you now signed up?
460 members now.
Like, that is phenomenal, right? That you've built that up. And it's inspiring women who go on Women Inspire to get the important camaraderie and collegiality that it brings, because, as I said, it's lonely being an entrepreneur. And I think even more challenging for women, because you are managing work-life balances all the time. Sadly, society has sort of conditioned women to think that way, and guys, by comparison, and I'm sorry, get a free pass nearly, on a lot of things, although that's changing for the better. But what you've done there, Samantha, is absolutely amazing. Now, I'm not going to go on, because it'll sound like I came on here to promote you. But if you don't mind me saying, Sam, I'll say this: I'm very proud of your success.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Mallow, cry. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Actually, we're getting lovely comments coming in. So John Butler, actually, I will get back to you later, John. John says, great to see you on Twitter Spaces this morning. That's another thing I have to show you, Gavin. Twitter Spaces. You will love it. What did you think? I thought it was great, John. I'll talk to you later. And Evelyn has said, a supportive network is crucial when starting in business. So what we're going to talk about today, folks, we're going to give you 3 things to think about. If you haven't started a business and you're thinking of starting a business, these are the 3 things that you need to think about. So, Gavin, thank you so much for your kind words. What would be the first thing you need to think about before you start your business?
Okay. Well, the first thing I'm going to say will be a little bit of a surprise. In the middle of a global pandemic, when the economy is almost stalled, is actually a good time to start a business. A lot of people start businesses in a boom time. And if your business idea is good, within a couple of months, 20 other people are doing it, because there's so much money in the economy. And we saw that in the Celtic Tiger. Anytime, you did something that was successful, there was 10 copycats straight away. You find it takes a really brave person to launch at this time. But I feel it's a good time, because there's only up to come. And by the way, can I say to people, the good news here this morning, as the vaccination rollout eventually starts moving with a bit of pace, we are coming to the end of what I'll call the COVID nightmare for business people. And believe it or not, people are going to find this hard to believe, but I want to put it on record. We are going to be heading into a boom in 2022. The economy is going to bounce back so quickly. Example this week, we're hearing about foreign institutions buying up housing estates in Ireland. You do not come into a foreign country and buy blocks of property unless you know the underlying economy is rock solid. So this is actually a good time to start a business. But the first tip I'm saying to you is this. You have to be wildly, madly passionate Sam, right? And Sam, we're talking about me suggesting to her, you were very upset with me trying to talk you out of your baby product at the time because you had passion, and that's what I love. So, like, it's very important that you've that passion and your conviction. And the reason I say that is that there are so many downs on the roller coaster of setting up a business that unless you have that passion or conviction, you are not going to succeed. So the first thing is, don't do it unless you are absolutely, you've convinced yourself. And the more the family are saying to you and friends are saying, oh, geez, you'd be mad to do that, Sam. Oh, God, Sam, don't do that. Do you know what I mean? Or Evelyn, oh, geez, don't do that. You know what I mean? And like you really have to say, well, I'm going to prove you wrong. That. So that's a critical requirement. Let's call a spade a spade. You have to have a certain amount of insanity. Okay.
Absolutely.
The second thing is, Sam, now you've heard me, say this in so many different ways over the years. Would you please just dive in? The local enterprise offices do great work running start your own business courses and things like that. But I hear people saying, thanks, Alison. I see your comment, and a very good afternoon to you. But I see people saying, I'm going on a start your own business, and then they spend 6 months researching them, and then they spend another 6 months, and they're talking about setting up some business for a few years. And I can understand if you're in a permanent and pensionable employment, etc. Why would you jump? It probably does take a little bit of a push or a shove. But the only way to start a business is, just jump in. It's really, really important. And as Miriam has made the comment, hi, Miriam, I would say, and I don't want to sound like it's plugging me, do sort of find yourself a mentor or advisor, because it is a lot, do join Women Inspire or whatever sort of organization would be out there that would be a fit for you, because as I've been saying, you are on your own initially, and to have that little bit of support. But it's important to get started.
Yeah, and I agree with you about, I remember when I said I was going to start a business, and I started mine in the recession, remember? And people were saying, are you mad? Would you not just stay on social welfare and get all the free stuff you're getting at the moment? Because at the time I was on social welfare. But I was determined, and I think you're right. I just did it, and just try it. Sure, if it doesn't work, doesn't matter. And I think in Ireland, I think it's improving, but at least you're trying, even if it doesn't work. At least you tried.
Yeah, but Sam, I think people need to realize you were a pretty special person. And if you don't mind me saying, no, but I'm going to say something, and I hadn't intended, and I didn't forewarn you about this, but you had your sobriety on your side as well. And I think somebody like you who's, dealt with addiction, has come through it as the role model you are, etc. And, sorry, I'm sounding all nice and plawmossy here, but the truth is, I am an exploitative investor to a type. And when I see somebody with that conviction, I want to work with you, because you had a drive that's off, you had the drive of the convert, and that's why I applaud you on your St. Patrick's Day initiative earlier this year and all of that. And I'll always support you. But Thank you. I think, and the comments are coming in that would attest to that. Unless you really are driven, unless you're diving in, you're not going to succeed in business. But the third tip, Sam, is you can't start selling soon enough. Like the number of people who say to me they've set up a business, and I say, what are your sales? And they're either zero or very little. Well, that's not a business. That's an idea. It only becomes a business when you start getting revenue that's at a profitable margin. And that's why anytime I'm talking to somebody, if they've got a new cupcake or they've got some new widget or something like that, unless they're at a country market on Saturday and Sunday selling it, I'm just not interested, because you only learn about your product, your business, your service when you are selling it. And, and the wonderful thing about online offers is, as you know, Sam, we can always tweak them and change them. So if people aren't biting at that, then what you do is, I'm loving this system.
I know, it's
Like,
called Restream. It's wonderful, isn't it? Yeah, yeah.
well done to the guys at Restream. It's sort of it's so interactive and great to get
There's great
uh,
comments coming
the,
in. Yeah, go ahead.
the comments coming in. But no, Sam, you know what I'm saying is that, you know, you've got to be selling, so you're constantly tweaking and improving the product and the service and the offering because of the feedback you're getting. So, you know, as I said, passion, get started, get selling is what I'm saying to people
Yeah.
here. I see Anya McManaman saying to us much the same thing, that, you know, and it's awful how I have to say this: the biggest restrainers on people starting a business are their family.
Yep, I agree.
And Irish mothers can be very, very influential, you know. Like my mother, God bless her, she died in 2017. She had a great handbrake anytime she'd apply. Well, I suppose you know what's best, son. And she wasn't impressed with what I was doing, you know. I suppose you know what's best. And it'd make you think. And of course, we're also driven by family. And I think a lot of us who set up businesses are looking for praise. If you don't mind me saying, folks, I think we knew at school we were smarter than others, but the school didn't move at the pace that we like to move at, maybe. So we want to prove ourselves to our loved ones. And unless your loved ones are being supportive, but unfortunately, the family can hold you back, and they're only trying to be nice to you, you know.
And you see, as an entrepreneur, that's another reason why it's nice to hang around with other people just like you, because they get your passion, they get your determination. Like my husband would never understand. He thinks I just play on the computer all day. He doesn't actually realize, you know, what I'm doing, because he barely has WhatsApp. He's 62, like, so, you know, he only ordered. Actually, this is a really good point we should make as well. He ordered online for the first time ever because of the pandemic. So can you imagine how many other people are now starting to order online that didn't order online before? And this is why it's so important, folks, to be able to adapt and to be able to, if you're not online, like I have Sonia here from Mezzo Music Academy, she pivoted her whole music school online, Gavin. From
well
being
done, Sonia.
Yeah,
look,
amazing.
I've said this before, but like, there's my credit card and I'm holding it up for a second, right? Just to show you, in a sense, that before the pandemic, in a shop, people would be asked every time would they tap for a purchase under whatever the figure was back then. It's currently €50. And do you know that 89% of people in urban areas, so that's where the figures would be highest, never mind getting into provincial Ireland, would refuse to tap, right? It's gone now, something like 92% of people have used the tap to make some other purchase in the recent month. So like, that's another thing. So money transactions have moved online without us even realizing it. And what we're going to find is that, yes, there is a whole world of things happening now online, much more so than before. And like your darling hubby, he's made a first part. And now once they're in, and once they've, you know, signed up to Amazon or Boohoo or whatever they'll sign up to, although Boohoo, many have, my daughter has shares in it because Laurie's just keep coming here every day. But like, you know, they'll sign up, they'll be on, and the world will have changed, which raises a big challenge and an exciting opportunity if politicians see it, right? But we're going to have to find some new uses for the town centres of Ireland, because the footfall for shopping won't be the same. And so therefore we have to find ways of doing that.
I think those workspace hubs, there's M Space in Malahide, for example. You know, I know that I would love to be going to a workspace instead of being in my home all the time. So people working from home.
There was a great book out, talk about timing, a guy called Chris Kane, and he's from Ireland, but he was the guy who transformed the BBC and their real estate in the UK, and then he went to Disney and did the same for Disney. But he's considered to be a world expert on property. And even before the global pandemic, he'd written this book, Where's My Office? And he's saying the future will be people working in hubs in their locality. That, you know, the madness of commuting into a city centre to work in the big office, and that lifestyle work balance is not going to work for the future. So you will be working one day approximately from home, one day maybe in the office, and 3 days at a local hub. So there's a huge opportunity here for the high streets of Ireland, if, you know, in the smaller towns, etc., particularly on the western seaboard. But it does need government not to be looking at it, but get engaged. And that's very important.
Get it done. Well done. Okay. Well, actually, we have a lot of people. One person has asked a question on Facebook. I just want to highlight it, if you don't mind. Hi, Sam and Gavin. What is the biggest regret you have of a business you let the other dragons get?
Oh, well,
that's sure who that's from.
That's a very easy one to start. One of the most successful businesses on Dragon's Den, on the RT version of Dragon's Den, and one of the most successful in Ireland or the UK, so when you even include the BBC, was space storage or understairs storage solutions.
That's right. Yeah.
And this was Paul, and he had this sort of customized version that went under every stairs in a 3-bed or 4-bed semi. He had different sort of customized ones that you just popped in, and the business has turned out to be a huge success and is the market leader in the UK. And what happens in every season of Dragon's Den is that, you know, I used to always work out in advance how much I was going to spend, and I'd spend that regard. So, you know, and I had just done 2 investments that morning, and some they're like buses, they're like the Ford, they can come along in threes. And in came Paul with I made the, I thought, God, I'd love this. And Nora Casey was sitting and said, no, you gotta go for this. And Nora and Sean O'Sullivan battled out for it. And fair dues to Nora, she's a brilliant negotiator. She got it. And that's certainly, now, you know, Sam, we never say one that got away from me, because I've been very lucky, as you know, with the investments as well. So, but certainly that was a great one. And Paul was just an absolutely brilliant promoter. And as I said, the business, a small business that started out literally under the stairs in Wicklow, is now such a huge success.
Yeah, I called in there. It's lovely.
Sunset, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, well done. That's great. Yeah, but you've got, like, actually, just if anyone wants to ask a question, we're going to finish up soon. So if you have a question, please don't be afraid to ask the question. Evelyn says we need sound people around us to support us and keep us on track. Yeah, do you think there will be another Dragon's Den? That's just a little question from me, really.
I don't think so, for the simple reason is 3 of us were mad enough and had large enough egos to run for the presidency against the very popular, and you were very helpful to me and worked with me on that. I appreciate that. But like, I think that's actually, you know, now, it would be the perfect program because it works for social distancing. You can see the BBC have moved theirs to primetime BBC One.
Yes.
After many years. We were in primetime Sunday nights. There should be a Dragon's Den at the moment, but you know the way RT, if you've touched politics for some reason, they don't go near you for years. So I don't think they're going to do it. Yeah, I think you should do it. Sam, you'd be great. I'd love one with people who've been on the program doing it. And I always think of Kate Hyde from Hen Party would be very good. And you know, would call it. But I do think RTE probably are missing an opportunity, because it's not an expensive program to make. It's absolutely, as we're seeing with the BBC, it maintains its compelling viewing. It's always better in Ireland, because on the BBC they have so many good ones coming forward, Sam, that they don't bother with the bad ones. Where in Ireland we had to create entertainment out of everything, and but like, you know, we used to have a fair few mad ones in there. You know, the chap who had some sort of type of farm gate thing, and he was looking for 200,000, but we were saying, and 80,000 of that was for his secretary. You know, like it was. It was very,
But
very
this
funny.
is why it was so entertaining, though. But
Yeah,
so Gavin, at the moment, though, can I just bring up the fact? Obviously, a lot of people have been struggling through this, and we acknowledge that it is tough times. But I do feel there is hope, and I think you'll agree. I think it's important to kind of do a plan for a strategy for the next few months. Definitely, I know that you help a lot of people, Gavin. If they wanted to contact you after watching this, I'm going to put your email address up. But is there any kind of tip you would give people that are like maybe a little bit fearful about the future, but they're ready. They're ready to make some kind of plans. Do you recommend they do a strategy for the next 6 months or anything like that?
yeah, but yes, but I'll be saying a strategy that starts with diving in. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
As I said, I don't want them strategizing for 6 months.
Yeah.
Get started. Yeah, look, you've put up the email there. Drop an email to us,
Yeah.
and so on. But really, the ones I'm concentrating on probably more so, and the ones that I'm finding real meat in, is somebody who's up and running with a business and wants to take it to the next level, and or it slipped back a level because of COVID and want to get it back on
Yeah.
track, and they're just tired of the COVID thing, and I want to pump them up and get them going again to achieve their potential, and I just love doing that. Can I just give
Yeah.
a shout out to Carl, who I see was
Yes.
Carl Heenan, and Caroline Hickey, MySpace and Malahide. They're open again
Yeah.
on Monday, and these work hubs are so important, and there's a nice sense of camaraderie. So Caroline, good luck. Caroline, good luck with that. In Malahide.
Yeah, she's actually a member of Women's Inspire Network as well. So we've been, lovely people as well. So please support if you're in the Malahide area. Evelyn says we need to support brave businesses taking their business online. And Cahala, it's lovely to see you as well. Lots of people joining in, so we can actually go back over the comments later. But Gavin, to finish it off, can I just ask you, what's your favorite inspirational quote? I know for me, right, my favorite quote is don't take criticism from someone you would never go to for advice. That's my favorite quote. Have you got a quote
Yeah.
maybe for people that might be looking for a bit of inspiration today? I know I'm putting you on the spot there.
No, well, you are, but I don't know if you're asking me off the top of my head. I think I often find myself reading the Rudyard Kipling poem "If," and the line in there: "If you can hold your head when others are losing theirs." That's certainly just to think about something, and social media, which I love. I wouldn't be doing it unless I really do love it, and it's a great outlet, and I love the fact that you can help people by just doing a retweet, as we discussed earlier, and so on. But I do wish people were a little less impulsive and they just thought about something before they actually say it. So, like, if it's not a quote, but the tip I'm going to leave you with is, you don't have to tweet it straight away. Send it to your drafts, look at it in an hour's time. And you'll be surprised the number of times I've looked at something and I don't really need to say that.
It's like, I'm glad I didn't send that one.
yeah. But like it's and
That's a great
just
tip.
try and help people rather than criticize people. In all of our communications, in person and online.
Well, thank you so much, Dan. I think that's a lovely note to end on. I think everybody, there is help out there. There are good people out there, and stick with the winners. Stick with the people who understand your passion. Definitely check out Women's Inspire Network, ladies. If you want to check it out, that would be great. And we'll see you on Twitter. And if you want to contact Gavin, his email address is there, info@gavinduffyandassociates.com. And Gavin Duffy, thank you so much. Have a lovely weekend. And I really appreciate your time.
And Sam, sorry, I know you know this, and I said I wouldn't mention it, but yeah, we are heading into a weekend with a COVID family funeral, and it's just the COVID thing and the restrictions. It's so anybody who's been through it, and this is the second one that we've had, both of them separate, of course, but that's the weekend, so it's one for the family. But Sam, I do want to finish by saying I'm so proud of what you've achieved, and yet I know how hard you've worked to achieve that, and how how I would say you're probably one of the most resilient people I know. So
Thank
continued
you.
resilience, and continue to be an inspiration to so many other people, particularly the business women of Ireland.
Thank you, and condolences, Gavin. Look, everybody, thank you so much for joining, and I appreciate that. You're just trying to make me cry. So I cry when I hear things like that.
No, it is.
Thank you.
It is very
Thank
sad.
you.
He's well, when you're 61 as I am, somebody in their 50s seems very young to
It's
die.
terrible. I think
And by the way, I've said something there that's not confirmed as yet. He had COVID at Easter. Joe suffered multiple sclerosis, but it seems that they're related in some way, and we'll get confirmation of that this evening from the authorities. But it's just brings home to you COVID, and can you imagine the family?
Yeah.
All of us were just in shock here, and our kids were very close to the kids involved there. They're all in their 20s now, and it's going to be a tough weekend.
Well, we'll be thinking of you this weekend, Gavin, and condolences from everybody. And thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you giving us your time today. Thank you.
All the best. All right. Take care.